I think we're in the process of going live.
I think we're live.
I think we're live now. All right. All right. Happy Saturday morning. You know what time it is?
It's time to get shit done.
It is, in fact, time to get shit done. Welcome to the Get Shit Done show, episode 11, Saturday, January 11th, 2025. Baby, this is going to be a good year, I think. I think this is going to be a really kick-ass year.
Yeah.
So my positive focus is that I woke up at 4:30. That was not cool. Lately, I don't know why. I mean, like, I stopped drinking alcohol months ago for 75 hard, but and when sometimes when I would drink alcohol, I would wake up at like 3 a.m., with my heart beating and like a sweat or whatever. And I was like, okay, clearly I shouldn't be drinking alcohol. So, like, I haven't had alcohol in months and I'm not eating sugary foods, like I'm eating super clean, whatever. And the last, I don't know, several nights I've been waking up. Anyway, I woke up at like 4:30 this morning and I was like, oh, I'm not ready to get up yet. So I proceeded to meditate in bed for an hour and couldn't go back to sleep. So, I'm a hypnotist. I'm pretty good with sleep most of the time. Like, I can put
Right.
myself to sleep really effectively, but not this time. And so I got up at 5:30, and which is my normal time that I get up most days. And I had kind of tweaked my back a few days ago in doing yoga, and so I took a hour-long, super hot Epsom salt, high concentration Epsom salt bath, and
Nice.
it took me. I didn't do this the whole time, but most of the time I was doing a counting meditation, slow, deep breaths until I get to 100, slow, deep breaths. And breaths take many, many, many seconds once you like drop down into it. And so it was like, it ended up being an hour, which I didn't realize. And so it was a very long kind of meditation session. And then I was thinking about something that so I got this therapist that I met a year after Jody and I split up, and I was a wreck. I was an emotional shit show. I was total train wreck, total jellyfish. Like, all of my like everything that made me happy in my life seemed like it was gone, and like I was just like, I was done. And I was really struggling. And I was introduced to this therapist by this friend of mine, this acquaintance of mine that had gone to the same college as me, and he's a little bit older than me. He's a serial entrepreneur and has been very successful. And so anyway, he introduced me to this therapist to help get me back on track. And this guy is 80 now, and
wow.
he is more like a spiritual teacher than a therapist.
Okay.
And back in the day, back in the 70s, he was like in various ashrams and all these types of things. And at some point in I think his 40s, he awakened. He like fully awakened, and he's the closest thing to it, like a legitimate Jedi master that I've ever personally encountered. Like, he's definitely
Cool.
vibrating on a much more expanded way than most of us are, right?
Okay, cool.
And
Yep.
so I've been working with him for quite a few years now, and he suggested that I study karma yoga in order to learn more about basically action as prayer, right? About how to be present in I wasn't familiar with karma yoga. And so it's one of the 4 forms of yoga, apparently. I discovered this morning while asking ChatGPT. And so it's a form of yoga where you're doing acts of service without expecting or needing any type of appreciation or recognition or benefit. It's like sacrifice for the act of being mindful in whatever it is you're doing. So it's kind of like
chop wood, carry water.
Yeah, chop wood, carry water, or whatever the thing is that you really, really don't want to be doing.
Right. Yeah, sure.
It's all the shit that you have to do that you don't want to be doing. And like, I have a long list of it in my personal life and in my business life. There are things that I avoid. And we talk about this with your shit list, right? And so, but I have things in my like, I tend to be disorganized and messy, and sometimes it's like really disorganized and messy, and other times it's more reasonable, right? But I don't tend to be really great at creating a beautiful resonant space. I know what one feels like and looks like, and I love them, but I have a hard time like creating that type of environment myself. And so anyway, my therapist suggests karma yoga. And so I'm like, okay, well, how do I get started with karma yoga? I'm like, well, I could read a book about karma yoga, or I could listen to podcasts about karma yoga, or I could watch YouTube videos about karma yoga. But I'm like, I'm doing yoga right now. And so I was actually in my first workout of the day, I was doing yoga, and while I was doing yoga, I asked ChatGPT to tell me all about karma yoga.
Cool. Right.
Which is not physical yoga, right? Not like stretchy yoga.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it did. And then I was like, cool, now act like 100-plus-year-old karma yoga guru who's trained hundreds of thousands of students in the art and is a lifelong devotee to the practice. And please create me a plan and process that I can follow in order to integrate a karma yoga practice into my life.
Cool.
And then it kind of tried to sound a little bit like an Indian guru, a little bit in its language, but not too bad, or not too much. I would have appreciated that a little bit more. But what ended up happening was I was like, okay, it gave some really good hints and tips and suggestions, but I said, can you make me a daily action plan? Okay. And so then it created me a daily action plan on like at the time of the day and what I need to do and how long I need to do it for in order to begin implementing this and practicing this in my life. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Right. And then I said, my name is Eric Oliver. So I had a chat GPT going, and then my yoga finished, and I was thinking about this, and you popped into mind because I had to get dressed for the Get Shit Done show. And so I had the voice conversation with chat GPT, and I said, my name, I mean, I could read it out loud, but basically I said, my name is Eric Oliver. I sell Kagan water filters in the Kagan opportunity. I want to make $10,000 per month. I'm not making anywhere close to $10,000 per month right now. I want to know exactly, but I'm an artist at heart, and I really want to be making my full-time income from my art, but I don't really have a solid business plan and business model for it yet. And so I want to work toward that, but I want my Kagan business to be successful first. And I want to do it in the next 90 days. Like, I really like, what do I need to do specifically, step by step, daily action plan? What exactly do I need to do every single day for the next 90 days in order to hit my $10,000 a month goal? Right. So what I was asking it to do is like the Get Shit Done version.
Right.
Of the dream. Right. And I've asked ChatGPT to do a lot of things. There are a lot of people who are way more AI savvy than I am. I'm not like, I enjoy AI, but I'm not obsessed, at least not yet. Okay. And, but AI, in order as a tool, There are lots of things it can do, but one of the cool things it can do is it can enhance aspects of productivity. And so what I just did was I wanted to integrate this practice of mindfulness into my actions, right? And so my therapist is like, you should do karma yoga. So because he's like, you're always go, go, go. He's like, run, Tellman, run, get shit done, put on the blinders and do the work. He's like, but you know, who the fuck cares? He's like, be present with what you're doing. Be clear, be centered, be focused. You don't need to move fast in order to make extraordinary things happen. You need to move intentionally. And so he's like, you're a driver, you know how to get this shit done, but like now it's time to get more clear on what you're doing. And so I'm like, okay, like, let me go for a run and think about this. So I was like, how can I do that? Right? How can I, in a way that is more than me just consuming it? I don't know anyone who knows anything about karma yoga. I live in Vermont. There are probably people around, but I haven't heard about classes about it or anything like that. And so I used ChatGPT to make me an action plan, and it was pretty good, right? It's totally something that I could schedule in on my calendar and follow. That's absolutely there. And so I was like, well, what have we been talking with Eric about? Right? We're about to talk about something on this episode. What is it going to be? And so what happened was, I'm going to open it back up because, so I did all of this in audio. I tried to share the audio file with you, but then there was a glitch and it didn't work out. So I had to share, the only thing I could share with you was the, text version, but basically and this could go into much more detail, but, the question is, how do I build a $10,000 per month Kagan business in my spare time? Okay. Like, what exactly do I need to do for my tasks, and like I asked it for like a 90-day plan. And and what it came back with was solid. So I'm going to read this off because honestly, this applies to almost anyone selling almost anything. Like, it's pretty direct, right? It's pretty clear.
Yep.
So daily tasks: engage on social media, spend 1 to 2 hours daily engaging with your audience, sharing testimonials, and posting educational content about the benefits of Kagan water, and presumably, and the Kagan water opportunity, right? Prospecting. Number 2, dedicate 1 hour daily to reaching out to potential customers and business partners through social media, email, and your existing network. 3, follow-ups. Spend 30 minutes following up with previous leads and customers. Okay, so you're basically doing social media posts about your stuff and how cool it is, right? for let's just say 2 hours a day. For 1 hour a day, you're reaching out to prospects. Basically, you're going to go into Messenger and you're going to reach out and engage with people, right? And then 30 minutes a day, you're going to follow up with previous leads that were their open loops. Okay, that's 3.5 hours a day. That's a part-time business. That's legit. You can do that in the morning. You can do that before lunch. If you, you know what I mean? If you get up and get to work. Weekly tasks are in addition to the daily tasks. 1, content creation. Create and schedule posts, videos, and live streams about Kagan water benefits, customer testimonials, and business opportunities. I mean, great. Okay, so basically, it's saying live stream every day and turn that stuff into videos and shorts, right? I mean, there are different ways you can do it, but like that's the long and short of it. 2, webinars and live sessions. Host at least 1 webinar or live session per week to educate and convert prospects. So simple. Do a webinar every week. Not that complicated. Schedule it in. Do the first one next week. That's it. End of story. 3, Team building. And this is where like community comes in, right? Spend time training and supporting your team members and encouraging them to recruit and sell. Okay.
Yep.
Monthly tasks. 1, strategy and review. Analyze what's working and adjust your approach. And 2, network expansion. Collaborate with influencers or partner with related businesses to reach new audiences. And I mean, as a one-man show doing strategy review every month, I would be amazed if you did that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just doing that by yourself is a weird activity, but you could also do it. You could do a monthly strategy review with ChatGPT as your guide also,
Sure.
you know?
Yep. Yeah, it's true.
And then network expansion, where it says collaborate with influencers or partner with related businesses to reach new audiences. Like, the easiest way to do that is, if you're doing a weekly webinar, is do a weekly webinar with another business and find a way to cross promote in the process.
Okay, cool.
Right?
Yep.
Maybe it's a webinar for them and a webinar for you. Maybe you promote their thing, they promote your thing. Maybe you do a webinar together and somehow it's mutually beneficial, you know, but like that makes it real easy. So time commitment. It says daily is 2 to 3 hours. I read that more as 3.5 hours. Weekly, an additional 3 to 4 hours of content creation. So, you know, webinars and team building. So call that an extra 5 hours a week, you know? So it's like 4 hours a day, you know? Consistently following this plan and refining your approach based on results will help you reach your financial goals. Does this sound like something you can commit to? So I guess that's a question, Eric, does that sound like something you can commit to?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
you didn't ask me to do this for you. I just kind of came up with it. And I was like,
no, I really appreciate that.
Like, it seemed really like very clear thinking. It just really delineated it out.
Yep. I mean, many of those things I'm doing on a regular basis, and I just need to be more consistent with it. And some of those things, such as like the weekly webinar, I know I need to be doing, and I have not yet started.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So, cool. Well, so this, that's my positive. That was a long ass positive focus. Sorry about that. What's your positive focus, Eric?
Oh, let's see. My positive focus, first and foremost, what is bringing me the most amount of joy in my life in this moment today is my relationship with Claudia. It's one of the most fulfilling things, I've experienced, and it's not always easy, and it brings up, the darkest shadows within myself that I can work through and heal and grow and evolve as a person and as a couple too. So yeah, that's my most significant positive focus. And then also, which is awesome, the Facebook group that I'm building and growing and nurturing is really blooming, which is exciting. I went to bed last night and there was over 100 people in it, and I woke up this morning and there was 211 people in it.
Why?
I pressed the button.
More people? Like, what happened?
I did. So what happened was I got caught up, and this ties into what we're going to talk about later in the show, which is your backlog and pile of shit. I got through my backlog and pile of shit, which was a bunch of lead follow-up and conversations that were holding me back from taking the next step. Because I knew once I pressed the invite your whole friend list button, I would not be able to get through that backlog realistically, and I would just be buried. And so I spent a couple hours going through that backlog, getting fully caught up, and then I pressed the invite your entire friends list button.
Awesome. Okay.
And people that are aligned with the group are going to join, and people that aren't won't. So it's kind of perfect.
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah, man. I mean, I would just get in there. Yeah. Again, like message everybody. And like, you know, what's also cool, what you can do is, and I say this out loud because I should be doing this and I'm not. Okay. So full admission, is I did this recently with the Get You Done group, except I did not like I didn't even think to implement the advice that I gave you because you were like a few days behind me, basically, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
and so I've started many Facebook groups in the past, but like yet we still overlook, or I certainly overlook things sometimes, right? Probably more often than I realize, and definitely more often than I realize. And what I noticed was that because they're from your friends list, there are a lot of people that join my Get Shit Done Facebook group that are from my past that were
Mm-hmm.
like, cool, what's this weird stuff Tellman's working on right now? I haven't seen him in 30 years. We went to
Exactly.
high school together.
Right.
Right? And like college together, or like somebody I met at like I sold salsa to once, or
Mm-hmm.
who knows? And so there are people that I've played music in bands with. There are people that I've run with. Everyone has their own connections to their friends list on Facebook. But what you can do is when you see in your list that people that have joined, you just jump. And I saw you already started doing some videos, right, with
Yep.
some updates. But
Exactly.
in your daily updates,
Mm-hmm.
mention people that joined that are like from the real world, right? That in the real world, and maybe you know them online, and you have a funny story about how you met online too. That's legit. But like, mention them by name,
Okay.
and like do a one-liner or mention the story about how you know them, and all this kind of stuff, because sending people a message and saying hi is one thing, but like doing a video and mentioning them by name and then like tagging them in it afterward is like, it's like public recognition,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, no, that's
And
true.
it's always going to make them look good no matter what. If you don't have something really good to say about somebody, don't even say it, right? And so, but it's just like, it's like it, you remember Cheers?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And when Norm would walk into the bar, right? Of course,
Mm-hmm.
Norm, right? And so it's like that type of effect where everybody stops and looks and cheers because that person just arrived, right? And
Yep.
you're the host that's leading the parade. So, anyway, congratulations, dude.
Thank you.
So okay, so great positive focus. In terms of like, we can dive in and do our check-in of what we got done, or we can kind of dive into the topic. I mean, I got a bunch of shit done yesterday. I did I had a couple of
Mm-hmm.
hypnosis sessions, did a live stream with you, wrote some emails, you know, um, et cetera, et cetera,
Yeah.
I had a couple of really good phone calls. Um, it wasn't a super high productivity day for me yesterday.
All right.
But I was also, I think, on the 5th day of this cold, which I think is now kind of lifting. So I'm
Mm,
pleased about
okay,
that.
good. Yep.
So yeah, what have you gotten done since yesterday? And then we'll dive into the show.
Right. Yesterday was the most productive day I've had in several days,
Cool.
which felt really good. Yeah, my energy was flowing. I did a bunch of exercise. Um, my goal with my exercise routine is to do 5 sets of 40 upside down sit-ups where I'm hanging upside down from the yoga swing, 10 pull-ups, and 25 push-ups. 5 sets of those each. I didn't do five. Five is the goal. I did three because I've been slacking all week and I needed to warm myself up. But now I feel warmed up, which is great. I created content for my Facebook group. I did a short video where I was just kind of checking in with everybody, welcoming everybody in, giving like expectation of what's to come, bringing some excitement and inspiration to what kind of content I'm going to be posting in there. And so that was good. I also created a video on my Facebook page where I was just inviting people into the group and yeah, bringing some excitement and curiosity into that and what to expect inside of the group and why you would want to be there. And then I spent, gosh, I think about 2 hours following up with people in Messenger. It
Mhm.
was, I mean, at least 2 hours. That's my backlog and pile of shit was a backlog of follow-ups to do. It was a tremendous amount, and it was something that I guess this is what we're going to talk about here after the check-in. But yeah, so I got through my follow-ups. I used voice voice messages instead of texting, which felt way more efficient, and also I feel like it's really good to do it that way for me. So it improves my speaking skills, it improves my confidence, it helps me also get through the task much more quickly than I would be able to typing everything out. A lot of these conversations were really in depth. People are really sharing with me, which is awesome. And yeah, I really appreciate the effort and engagement that people are putting into the conversations I'm having currently. And yeah, I wanted to reciprocate that. And yeah, felt like voice message was the proper way to do that. So,
Yeah, so be careful with that, right? So
okay.
so there are a couple sides to that. One is
Hmm.
maybe it's going to be awesome for you and your people, and that's great if it is. I have been having the same experience, except I've been having people that I reach out to in Messenger who join the Get Shit Done group,
Yep.
who are successful entrepreneurs, send me voice messages back, and I'm like, fuck this guy. Because I don't want to, I'm like, he's trying to save time and he's wasting my time in the process by leaving me this long ass voice message
Okay.
that, like, it could have been 3 lines of text. I could have read it in
Sure.
2 seconds instead of having to listen to 4 minutes of yammering and like background noise. And
Gotcha.
so that's one piece. Generally, I prefer a conversation over text. Like, I like
Okay.
communicating verbally and through audio.
Hmm.
Um, but uh there are several voicemails where voice messages where people replied to my text in a voice message that I simply haven't listened to.
Hmm.
And I hadn't really examined that until you mentioned it just now.
Interesting. Okay.
So that could just be me. Okay. That doesn't mean
I think
that's
it's a personal
universal.
preference. Yeah. Some
But
people prefer voice over text and vice
well, here's
versa,
the other
I found.
trick, dude. That's the
Yep.
other thing to remember is that written is a different communication medium than voice. And
Sure.
so if people are communicating to you long copy text,
Hmm.
there's also a very good chance that's how they're best going to learn and receive the message back. And so maybe not, though, maybe not. So
Right.
try it out, and then after a while do a survey of your group and ask people what they prefer,
I'll
or
do
you could
that.
ask
Yeah.
people what they
Uh-huh.
prefer now. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You could post that as a question in your group and ask how people feel.
Yep.
One thing that I did that you could totally do, I don't know if I recommend it, but it seems good, is that so Facebook, and this is an old feature, but whatever. Facebook, if you have a new group and it's popping and people are introducing themselves and saying hi and all that kind of stuff, start a chat. There's a start a chat feature, and it opens a
Really?
messenger thread for the group.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. Yeah.
So anyone that wants to join it can. The problem is it's like an open chat.
Right.
So like lots of people start being dumbasses for a while. But
Hmm.
then on the other hand, like I just had a joint venture deal go down without me even being involved in my get shit done chat. It's just like somebody was like, oh, that sounds cool. Send me a DM. I'd love to do business with you. I was like, done. I was like, bam.
Cool.
So I
Boom.
was like, all right, I got shit done. Like that's really good.
Yep.
So it's a little chaotic, and like people are often not respectful of they're not thinking when they're typing in. They're like, oh, who's this gonna go to? I don't know. But at the same time,
Hmm.
some really cool things come out of it. um
Cool. Yeah, I'll check that out.
you can always delete it. You know what I mean? If it goes
True.
south or whatever.
True. Yep.
Cool. So, all right, well, let's talk more about, you brought up that you wanted to talk about backlogs, open
Yeah.
loops, and what we affectionately call the pile of shit. Okay, so you have an action plan moving forward, right? You figured out a goal. You're getting some ideas of what your to-do list items are that you need to knock out in order to make it happen. What are your daily actions? What are you building toward longer? You starting to get all this organized, but at the same time, you're realizing, oh, I have all this other stuff that is left undone that I've been procrastinating on for the last 5 years. So, yeah. So bring me up to speed. Where are you at with your own processing on this? Like, where are you bumping into problems?
Yeah. So what was coming up for me yesterday, especially, and just, I mean, the past several days, it's more like a backlog from the past 5 days as opposed to 5 years. But
Yeah.
I mean, sure, there's probably 5 years worth of backlog stuff that I wasn't even aware of. But the past 5 days or so, yeah, there's just been a lot of really great engagement from group members, and previous leads, like business leads also. And it was just a mountain of follow-ups. And I've been, yeah, just really not as present as I needed to be with all of that, and just having other things happening outside of me that needed my attention and energy and focus. And I prioritized that for a number of days. And then returning to the tasks at hand, and I saw what I needed to do to move forward, but yet there's all this stuff over here that needed to get done, because if I were to just move forward without taking care of that backlog, I would just be buried and I would never get through it all, and I would leave a lot of things undone. So yeah, it was kind of like going back to move forward. And yeah, it felt really good yesterday to just cram through it and get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there are a couple factors in this, right? Like,
Yep,
one
yep.
is, sure, dedicate a day or a weekend or whatever to knocking a bunch of stuff out. It's spring cleaning time, right? There
Yeah.
are things in life and business or whatever that need a concentrated effort to get one particular thing pushed out of the way, taken care of. Man, the garage really has gotten messy over the last 20 years. We got to clean this puppy out. You know what I
You
mean?
have no idea.
Right. And so at the same time, there's always going to be more backlog. There's always
True.
going to be more follow-up that could be done,
Mm-hmm.
probably should be done.
Yep.
There's always going to be things that you could do to do a better job that are absolutely left unfinished in every single interaction and relationship you have with a prospect, customer, client, friend, family member, partner, child, business partner, whatever. There's
Mm-hmm.
never an end to how much more you can essentially care about them.
True.
Okay?
Yep.
That's not something. And so the idea that you can actually like get the backlog out of the way is kind of imaginary, I think. I don't think it's real,
Yeah.
because
Well, there's that, but there's also like, I mean, conversations that were left open where people were reaching out to me,
right.
asking for information, asking questions, and I hadn't responded to them for several days.
Well, and so those are also wonderful opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Open loops. Okay, here it is. Open loops
Yep.
are opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and for many people in some sort of a sales and marketing or entrepreneurial type position, doing the follow up is the least fun. There are some people that are amazing at it, and they have to work way less hard than the rest of us do because their follow up is so good that they don't need many leads to begin with, because they're just present and connected and they actually treat them like human beings, right? And like, and then people want to do business with you for decades, right? Lo and behold.
Yep.
And so the way that, so let's use follow-ups as an example, because it's something that any salespeople have to do and any marketers have to do, whether it's one-to-one or one-to-many, whether it's in Messenger or email or text message or some other format. Follow-ups, like we all know, like this idea of the money is in the list, or the, you know, the money is in the follow-up. We all know that, but it's not the sexy adrenaline filled, like creating something new, doing something new, you know, making a sale for the first time, whatever. Like it, like that part of the fun isn't usually there in the follow-up. And so what I would suggest is that follow-ups are more important than prospecting. And the reason is, like, you don't have to break the ice. The ice is already broken. They know who you are, and you're circling back. And like, I have a few lifelong friends that we connect every 6 months in a text message and or a phone call and catch up and whatever, you know, and so there's a cyclical nature to the follow-up of my lifelong friends. You know, I like a dozen people more or less like that. And then family members are different frequencies depending on the family member, right? And so I these days I think about your leads, your customers, your clients, your prospects, you know, your website visitors, whatever point in the spectrum that they're on, you know, in terms of how much they know about you and how far they've seen you. If you have the ability to follow up with them, basically what you're doing is every person is a seed, and you've planted each and every one of those seeds. And you have more than just a garden, you have a farm, and the farm has thousands of seeds. And each one of those seeds, first of all, they're not all the same, right? They're different things. You're growing different things, and they need different amounts of water and different amounts of sun, and they have different threats coming at them from too much sun, too little sun, too much water, too little water, crazy windstorms, too hot, too cold, you know, animals eating them up, bugs, you know, eating the plants, mold, you know, destroying the roots, you know, all these threats that these plants that you're growing, that one day hopefully will bear some fruit, are going to kill them. And then once they start actually growing, then there's weeds, right, that are going to try to suck out all their nutrients. And then, you know, so there are all these things. And so what it comes down to is, and this is probably even more true in Hawaii than it is in Vermont, because in Vermont, at least it gets cold, you know, in Hawaii stuff is growing all the time, right? And like, if you don't take care of it, it's either going to it's going to die and get choked out, or it's going to go completely bananas and crazy, and it's going to get completely outside of your control and turn into chaos. And depending on the nature of what you're growing, you know, but in most cases, more aggressive, more invasive things are going to come in and take over and kill off all of your effort, right? If you don't get in there and take care of it every day, and take care of the seeds and the plants that are growing, and harvest the fruit properly, and, you know, fertilize it well, and again, get rid of the weeds, and learn when it needs sun and when it needs water, and how to take care of it if it's not getting what it needs naturally, and all this stuff. And so your business and all of your prospects and all of your customers are exactly the same way. There's literally no difference. And what I'm realizing with the Get Shit Done community is that what I'm not doing is, when I launched it, I was in there for like hours every day doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And then now that I kind of know how it works, I'm not like obsessed. And I'm like, wait a second, the activity's dying down a little bit.
Interesting.
Because I'm not in there consistently taking care of it every day. Right? Like right now, I'm putting more effort into doing the show with you than I am interacting with the community members inside the group or inside the
Mm-hmm.
Facebook group. And I'm like, oh, okay. This is
Mm-hmm.
like what I'm learning right now as a community leader, which is what I wanted to learn or thought I wanted to learn. But it's like, okay, I have to get in there every day
Mm-hmm.
and be present with my people. Okay.
Yep.
And be there and be supportive of them and their efforts. And if they're not making noise, I'll check in with them and see how they're doing, see how I can be supportive, and so on. Make the community a better and warmer and more interactive place, and so on. And that takes daily attention and daily effort. And for me, if I'm obsessed with something, it's easy and I overdo it. If I'm not obsessed and it's beginning to become a little bit routine, I avoid it. And the only way that I've
I
found
can
out
relate.
that I can, like, so one of the things that I can do during work parties is I can create content and be interactive inside the Get Shit Done community. And that's a great thing for me to do.
During the
Right.
get shit done work parties. Yeah, totally.
Exactly. Rather
Yeah.
than doing other random stuff, like I could actually be in the community and be stirring stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, the point is that those are the loose ends. So you could think about it as follow-up, or you could think about it as community cultivation.
Exactly. No, that's exactly what it is in essence, for sure.
Yeah. And if it's something that you are not doing naturally,
Yep.
then the answer is, and if it's important, if it's a top priority, the answer is really simple. Schedule it in first thing in the morning. That's it, dude. Not that complicated. If that's the thing, um, that's it. So first thing in the morning, as early as you can, and so for me, the first thing that I do in the morning is I get up and go to the bathroom, drink some water, make some coffee, and I either go for a run or do yoga. Okay. Usually between 6 and 7 a.m. is when my first workout happens.
Okay.
And I'm not in my community between 6 and 7 a.m. Okay. I'm up. I'm getting some calories in my body. I'm going out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm exercising. Getting my head straight. And then whatever time you're going to start. And again, you might be interacting in your Facebook group. It might be interacting in your community. It might be sending Facebook follow-up messages. It might be sending text messages. It might be sending emails. It might be on LinkedIn. Whatever. It might be on any of these things. But yeah. So to deal with the big pile of open loops, my suggestion is schedule time in to close the loops every single day as part of your practice.
Totally.
Yeah, and again, yeah, sometimes you need to do a big push. I'm going to temporarily jump out of here while you do a commercial. I need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, we were talking a little bit about the Facebook group that I'm creating, which is a super exciting project. I've never really done this before, create a community where, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's blowing up really quickly. There's like over 200 people in it now, and we're talking all about, building creating abundance in your life, overcoming your biggest blockages, working towards your goals. Specifically, we're going to be talking a lot about the incredible opportunity that I'm working with. It's a kind of high ticket network marketing business model, working with these incredible water ionizers. And yeah, it gives you so much freedom and flexibility in your life to be able to work from home, create your own hours, your own schedule. Gives you location freedom. You're not tied to any one location. You could go traveling and know what you're going to do once you get there or along the way. And I'm creating this Facebook group where we're going to be talking about that and so much more: mindset blockages, overcoming your hurdles. I'm just looking at my list of things we're going to be talking about in there. There's so many cool things. But yeah, mindset is going to be a big thing we're going to be talking about in there. And yeah, that's something that I've done a lot of work on myself, and really excited to dive into that and more about the incredible business model that we're working with. And yeah, the group is called Pure Path to Prosperity, and you can find it on Facebook.
Awesome. The H2O Army.
The H2O Army, that's it.
No, different vibe. Pure path to prosperity. That's awesome, dude. I'm so stoked that you're now up to 200 members. I'm at like 322 with Get Shit Done. And
Great.
so you want to race?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay, let the races between now and January 31st.
Okay.
And because our group is about the same size, the Facebook group anyway. So
Yep.
let's see who can get a bigger Facebook group by the end of the month.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
All right. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Both of our Facebook groups can grow.
The race
right?
is on.
All right, guys. So we're going head to head here. Eric's got the Pure Path to Prosperity. I guess I got a little extra branding. Look at it. It says GSD like at least twice on the screen. Anyway, there's the Get Shit Done free Facebook group, and then there's the paid Get Shit Done community on school, and then Eric has the Pure Path to Prosperity Facebook group for helping network marketers, multi-level marketing folks, direct sales folks be super successful and hopefully sell an absolute crap ton of water ionizers in the process, because that's what Eric's into. So you guys should totally join his group. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you want to be successful with network marketing, Eric's a good guy to pay attention to. He knows a lot of really smart people too that I expect he'll be doing some interviews with in the very near future.
Yep.
Cool. So okay, open loops. Basically, if you, for some people, they don't even get started, right? They allow ideas like procrastination, perfectionism, and fear of fill in the blank, fear of success, fear of failure, fear of blah, 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 fear of blah, 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 serve as the reason for complete inaction. Often these people have a very heightened sense of attention to detail, however, and do a really great job when they do something. It's just that they drag their feet on pulling the trigger, you know?
Yep.
They're often better at finishing than they are at starting. But they don't tend to be particularly entrepreneurial. Then there are people who jump in without any forethought, like me, and commit to something gigantic without really thinking about the consequences or impact of that, or planning it out, thinking it through, considering the options, weighing it out, and then making a logical, rational decision. It's not really how I roll. I mean, much to like many people's frustration sometimes. I tend to go on inspiration when I get excited about something, and then I just go all in for as long and as hard as I can, on what it is. And sometimes it works out, and sometimes it crashes and burns. But it's a really fun, it's a fun way to go, but it has highs and lows, right? And so there are other ways that we deal with this, but some of us struggle with more with the day-to-day and more with the routine, and some of us struggle more with getting things going in the first place. And so if you're struggling with the follow-up, if that's what you're struggling with, then my recommendation is that's what you do during work parties. Like, or just have a follow-up work party every morning at your time of choice. Like, maybe that's the work party you start running and get shit done, like the follow-up work party, Yeah.
I mean, looking back at my past years too, it's been a bottleneck that I've identified at several points. the
Yeah,
follow-ups.
so there are a couple things on that. Basically,
Mhm.
my belief is that what it comes down to is you need to care about your people more,
Yeah. Yep.
and there are a few ways you can do that,
Okay.
and you don't have to choose just one of those ways. I just came across a video this morning while I was looking for a yoga video to watch. I came across a video on YouTube. I think it was a brand new video by Gary Vaynerchuk. You know Gary V.
Mhm.
And he said it was titled "The Opposite of AI." So I was very interested. And he's basically like, go old school.
All right.
Call your old customers and check in with them and ask them how they're doing and how it's going.
All right.
And thank them for their business 18 months ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago.
Gotcha. Yep.
And then he told this interesting story about how he found someone that had, you know, so they were going through their list of customers for his old wine library TV wine store back when he used to sell wine, and they went and they looked everybody up on social that was a customer, and they found this one customer that only spent like $100 on a case of wine, but apparently was like a major influencer on Twitter. And the person was really into like the quarterback of the Chicago Bears or something. And
Mhm.
so, he had only spent $100 on a case of wine, but what they did was they got him a signed jersey in like a frame from
Mhm.
his favorite quarterback that was $400 or something, and they sent it to him with a thank you note saying thanks for being a customer, blah
Oh,
blah
cool.
blah.
Right.
And he anyway, it ended up landing him like a crazy deal because the person he sent the shirt to ended up telling this other guy all about Gary's business, and the guy just became like a mega customer.
Mhm.
And it was all because of the word of mouth referral that was generated. And so anyway, the point was, it was just like, call your customers. The whole video was like, call all the people that you've done business with, check in with them on a human basis, because everybody else is going whole hog on AI.
Totally.
And that's great. There are a lot of opportunities in AI, but the opportunity cost in AI is lack of actual connection with your prospects and your customers. Because like AI can do all the writing for you, AI can do all the follow-up for you, AI can do all the thinking for you, AI can do all the everything for you, and you have more leverage. But what you don't have is a relationship,
Exactly.
and everybody knows it,
Exactly.
right? Or at least your customers that really matter know it, you know,
Mhm.
the ones who are paying attention. And so um yeah, like just spending the time staying in touch. I mean, that's how you know what, dude, that's how you develop lifelong friends. And
Mhm.
I would suggest that's also how you develop lifelong customers, is you call them every few months and you check in and see how they're doing.
Totally. Yeah, I
That
like that.
not
Um, on the AI thing, just a funny little side note. There was a conversation I was in with somebody some months ago, several
Yeah,
months ago,
yeah,
where I was receiving these really long text messages from this person, and I could just tell that it was written by AI. And it was so long-winded, and just the wording, you could
right,
just tell it was AI. And I'm like, God, that's a lot to respond to. And it's just kind of like a lot of fluff without a whole lot of substance. Like it could have been refined down to something really
right.
short. And, I thought about like, I could just use AI to respond to it. But then I
But
was like, God, that'd be so bizarre. It's just like a conversation between two robots. And I'm
right.
like, I don't want to contribute to that.
Well, I mean, I think that there's absolutely a place. I mean, robots are talking all the time to make our businesses run. Even if you're talking
Sure,
about
yeah.
Zapier and APIs and linking up websites, like that's an aspect of that, right?
Okay,
So I
sure.
hear
Yep.
you, but when
Yeah.
it gets in the way of human relationship,
Yep.
so but the point is, like, everybody, like, AI is going to get more believable on all fronts. Like, it's more passable as human. It's going to get better and better and better and better and better and better and better. That's all still true. Like, but that doesn't mean there'll be a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there might be a relationship between your fake AI version of you and the customer, but like, what's going to happen when you see that customer at a seminar and you don't remember most of your conversations with them because you didn't have them, right? So it's
Exactly.
yeah. So it's, and what I'm saying is, like, that doesn't mean don't use AI. It just means that there's a dark side to it, which is lack of relationship and connection. You know, where everybody's trying to get more engagement, everybody's trying to, like, in email, everybody's trying to get more opens, get more clicks, get more, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yet that's dying, and everyone's trying to get more people to watch their videos and read their, you know, comment on their stuff and all these things, and that comes from having a deep, meaningful, trusting relationship over time.
Yeah, I feel that. All
right.
right.
So on the other hand, right, if follow-up is the bottleneck,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much great stuff that you can partially or fully automate with or without AI. And there are great strategies, like, that I've absolutely used and am intending to use a lot more in 2025, where you can do social posts, ask people to respond to you in the comments, automatically follow up with automated messenger systems.
Mm-hmm.
People can say they're interested or not in whatever you're working on, in watching the video that you released, in getting the ebook that you released, in joining your free group, in joining your community, and joining your webinar, joining whatever.
Yep.
It can give that to them. They can become a lead, and that aspect of follow-up can all be automated. But you, in order to do that, you need to sit down and force yourself to go through, like, making a systematic blueprint and plan, learning the software that you're going to do it. You have to kind of approach it with an engineer's mind. And so creating automated follow-up systems can absolutely save you. Well, it can put a really good Band-Aid on your obvious weaknesses if you're not good at follow-up and it's been a consistent bottleneck. I've had the same problem, dude. Like, this is
Okay.
not,
Yep.
it's not like you're alone here, right?
Yeah.
The way that I have dealt with over the years, the best way that I have dealt with my own avoidance of follow-up is email my list every day. So one way you can counteract some of the downsides of being crappy at follow-up is by creating a connection every day. And that is your follow-up. So if it's sending an email list every day, email to your list every day, if it's doing a video every day, you know, if it's posting every single day, you know, but basically keep the conversation going by showing up and saying something provocative, interesting, educational, entertaining, meaningful, whatever. But still, the reality is, even if you're just talking about Facebook, dude, if Facebook is the only world that we're talking about, which obviously it's not, but if it was, there's so much more value in doing your daily post and then replying, liking, like replying to every comment, liking every comment, replying to every message, and reaching out to everyone that makes a comment with an engaging message saying that you noticed that they liked your post and you just wanted to reach out and say hi. Like, 80% of it is the follow-up.
Totally.
80% of the work is the follow-up. And so if you're going to be building something into your routine, yeah, I mean, again, you can do this personally. You can do it with, you can always partially automate stuff to give you more leverage. But the real value is showing up and interacting and caring about people. I think like that's where the long-term connections come from.
Yep. Yeah, I feel that.
Cool. All right. Well, so where are we at? Is there anything else we have to talk about today? Have we
I think
closed
we
all the
pretty
loops?
much covered it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're at the hour mark, and I'm just looking at the clock right now, and you know what time it is, Tillman?
It's time to get shit done.
That's right.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to episode 11 of the Get Shit Done show. And if you want to get more shit done, if you want to join the Get Shit Done productivity cult for entrepreneurs, we train entrepreneurs to get shit done. Go over to school.com/get-shit-done/about, and you can watch our little video. You can join. You can get the Get Shit Done hypnosis session that will hypnotize you to get shit done. You can get the Get Shit Done system that'll teach you all about getting shit done. You can get the Overcome Procrastination session that will hypnotize you to overcome procrastination. And you can get the 10K per month session, the $10,000 per month session that will hypnotize you to make $10,000 per month, while also being able to tune into our weekly work parties where we work together in real time to get shit done. So come join us and we'll kick your activity into high gear. You're going to get 3 times more done this year than you did last year. We're going to triple your productivity. Get ready, though. You're going to work. This is definitely, there's going to be work involved. So if you're allergic to work, don't join Get Shit Done. All right. Allergic to work, this is not the place for you. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Have an awesome day. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys.
Later. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, thank you.